4 teasers, 4 trailers, and Marvel says these aren't really trailers? What's up with that? Well, join me today on mzansinerds as we take things off the cliff to see if all this actually makes sense, or was all this just a load of baloney? I don't know. But either way, we're gonna go piece together puzzles and see where all this is leading to see if whether Doom has been lurking in the shadows, or if he was just a retcon. So, I'm pretty sure by now we've all seen the 4 trailers. And if you haven't, what are you, Patrick? You know, because he lives underneath the rock. Anyway, but I'm pretty sure by now we've all seen and we've all kind of have a clue about what's going on. At least we think we do. The Russo brothers have literally told their fans to pay attention, and by their own Instagram posts, what we've been watching for the past 4 weeks are not teasers, or trailers for that matter. They're stories, they're clues, and we have been instructed to pay attention. We're going to take a look into all the 4 trailers, analyze them, and see if we can pick up anything that the Russo brothers have left behind. First up is the All-American Steve Rogers, or better known as Captain America. Now, his teaser shows him returning for part 1 of the big finale in Marvel's Phase 6. However, this time we're seeing a very different side of him. He's not returning as the all-American badass, but returning as a more calmer, more toned down father? His trailer starts off by showing him riding a motorcycle to what seemingly is a house, one that kind of resembles the one in Endgame. The scene shows him folding his old suit and then holding a baby. This scene feels very deliberate, as in not just any other throwaway, almost as if the Russo brothers were trying to tell us something. Alright Russos, I'll let you cook. Next up is Thor. Now, in his trailer, we see him a bit older, more introspective, and praying to Odin for strength.
Lend me the strength of the old fathers, so that I may fight once more.
In his trailer, it isn't him just talking about winning a war or being goofy while doing it. He's talking about returning home to his daughter, teaching her warmth and stillness.
But now fate has given me something I never sought. A child.
In the usual Thor normalcy, it's about power, it's about strength, it's about identity, usually directed himself. But this time his teaser shows us something a little bit different. It showcases what he's actually trying to fight for, what he's trying to protect, what he's, well, all about now. And either way, something is definitely up. There is a storm brewing, and it's not Stormbreaker. In the 3rd teaser, we get to see the X-Men. Up until now, the last time we saw the X-Men was in Dark Phoenix, which released in 2019. However, in terms of chronological timeline, the last time we actually saw them was in Days of Future Past. Either way, the X-Men are showing up in Doomsday, and clearly this isn't just some fan service. The trailer starts off by showing us the X-Mansion. However, this time, empty, looking very distraught, like the end of a battle of some sort. We then hear Ian McKellen's Magneto narrating the scene.
Death comes for us all. That's all I know for sure.
This is very haunting. The trailer then pans to Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier playing chess with Magneto, seemingly ending up their decades-long feud of idealism and reconnecting as the friends they were before everything unfolded. And then we get a very, very special scene, ripped right out of the comic books. What could all this mean for the X-Men in the MCU? Well, more on that later. Finally, Wakanda meets the Fantastic Four. Now, the final teaser, we get the Wakandians, the Talokanians, and the Fantastic Four. A weird mix if you ask me, but hey, let's run with it. The trailer starts off with Shuri walking in the desert, narrating how she lost everything and how a king must prepare his people for death. Okay, somebody's definitely gonna While she's narrating, it pans over to Namor and the Talakanians. Again, in a desert? Like, aren't these fish people of some sort? Like, don't they need water to breathe? Okay, I play, but this does seem to allude to some sort of war being fought on unimaginable proportions. It all looks like people are going to lose a whole lot more than just their lives. Well, we'll see what they're trying to fight for and protect. The final scene of the trailer shows the Wakandians meeting Ben Grimm of the Fantastic Four, with M'Baku introducing himself as King.
King M'Baku of Wakanda.
Ben, Yancey Street, between Broome and Grand.
Shuri then ends the trailer by saluting an unknown figure, Wakanda style, and the trailer ends like any other, telling us who will return in Doomsday. Alright, so we've seen the trailers, and boy oh boy do we have a lot to talk about. One thing I can say about all these trailers is they seem to have a central theme: stakes, legacy, and consequence. All trailers have shown up, or at least have alluded to stakes everyone is fighting for, from Cap and Thor for their kids to the X-Men fighting to survive, and Wakandians fighting for their kingdom. Okay, so the trailers are about legacy, stakes, consequence, but what does that all mean? I mean, in the first trailer, Cap is seen living a domestic life. He has settled with being a father and he seems very happy with it. But why do we need to know all this? Could it be that the kid is the central clue to the trailer? Well, I guess we're gonna be nerds about it and read too much into it. First of all, Cap is basically a time traveler. I mean, his character was frozen for quite some time, a couple of decades from 1945 to present day, or 2011, but I guess we'll just call it present day. As Loki Season 1, Episode 1 explained, or should I say Miss Minutes, when a person steps off their predetermined path, or somewhere that they weren't destined to go, this creates a Nexus event,
which left unchecked could branch off into madness, leading to another multiversal war.
Back to Cap. If Cap was frozen in time, thereby making him a time traveler, and since the TVA didn't interfere, I guess all this was supposed to happen, but him going back in time to live out his life and having a kid, that's a whole different conversation. And by the laws that Kevin Feige and the Marvel have created for themselves, going back in time would create a Nexus event, or at least would create another branch timeline from the timeline that he came from. If this is true, then this isn't Cap just living a regular old domestic life. He's potentially living in a branch timeline that shouldn't exist or shouldn't have existed in the first place. So, my question with all this is, if a universe that branches off from its own main universe or its original universe, wouldn't that also mean that we need a Nexus being to anchor that timeline into something more, I guess, tangible? So, I don't know. My speculation could be that maybe his kid is the anchor being of his new universe. Either way, this is just my own personal theory. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Next up, we have Thor. Now, Thor's trailer is a bit peculiar if you ask me. Thor's trailer doesn't explicitly leave any room for multiversal fracture speculation, but it does point to one thing: love, or should we say eternity. Now, Thor's plea to his father could be rooted in pain, it could be rooted in loss, or just plain all asking for strength, but it does leave one question on all our minds. What is Doom's plan? Is he exploiting these kids, or is he just simply invading timelines? Is he correcting? Is he fixing? Or is he trying to be a dictator? Well, I guess more will be revealed as we get more teasers, trailers, or more information. The X-Men trailer, though filled with nostalgia bait, does accomplish one thing. It shows us brutality, it shows us the aftermath of what's at stake. It also shows us that this isn't just some simple one-universe problem. It's a multiversal war where entire timelines are collapsing, involving the mutant worlds as well. Going with the theme of stakes, this trailer is riddled with loss, from Cyclops shooting his psionic beams to what seems like anger and frustration, to Magneto contemplating about death and who you are when you close your eyes. The themes of legacy just echo throughout this trailer. And finally, we have the fantastic Wakandians. In this trailer, rather than building towards one big battle, Marvel's imagery here screams collision, skies crack, worlds collide, reality looking like a worn-out desert. Now, this coincides with the X-Men trailer, echoing loss and the aftermath of a battle. In this trailer, entire kingdoms are at stake, with the Talokanians seemingly residing in a desert instead of underwater where they are known to live. Could Doom have had something to do with this? Is this the same desert that the Fantastic Four and Shuri meet? And where is Doom in all of this? Now, I may not have all the answers to these questions, and this is technically speculation. However, there is one thing that is confirmed about all this. All these trailers do show something. They show that there is something big at stake. There are legacies that must be protected, and all this are consequences of what happened in the past. Now, where does Doom fit into all of this? Though Doom is invisible in all of these trailers, they do suggest his influence. Some fans have thought that these 4 teasers correspond to some form of apocalyptic themes of war, loss, collapse, and rebirth, all which are tied into Doom's world-ending motive.
Nice.
Another theory sees these trailers transition into codes the moment they end and go into a countdown. Now, some fans have pieced together these codes, and they do think that they do amount to some of the moments that happen in Endgame's time heist.
What do you call it?
A time heist?
Yeah, time heist. Of course.
This could be the so-called meddling that the Avengers have done to the timeline, which would then transition us into Doomsday. Now, none of these fan theories are confirmed, but they do fit the clues. They do tell a narrative way bigger than just a regular superhero smash 'em up. So, here's where we come in as super nerds. Our job is to analyze these trailers, piece together the puzzles, and figure out what the heck, Marvel. My question to you is this. Do you think that these are actual movie scenes or just standalone teasers? And are these so-called codes connected to Endgame in any sort of way, or potentially something deeper? But most importantly, who is Doom and why should we care? Anyways, that's my take on this incredible story that Marvel and the Russo brothers have laid down in front of us. Hopefully in the near future we get something more than just cryptic messages about what's actually happening. Drop your theories below, smash that like button, and subscribe if you like these kind of dives. It's been nice. I'm Cliff, you're a nerd. Join us next time on Off the Cliff.